Right. So, before jumping into the session, any questions, any doubts, guys? No questions? Are we good? Okay, fine. So then, how many of you patched the SQL server? Raise your hands. There is a symbol called raise hand symbol. How many of you successfully patched the SQL server? Okay. Kalyani, Radha Krishna, I guess Tabassum you also completed, right? Right. Harsh, B, Vicky, Gopi, Harishankar, Kadir, Kirtesh, okay, Sampath, Anjib, it's for you, it's difficult. Okay, Saurabh, Sheikh, Sunita, Swati, Wahab. What happened? Have you tried patching the SQL server? You don't have time to patch the SQL server also.
No, Tamok, I have patched.
Okay. Guys, if you are patched and if you are unable to raise the hand, just let me know. That will be fine. Or you can send a message in the Zoom chat also. No issues. Okay. Patching is very important activity, and even I told you multiple times, even I spent two complete classes, which will be 5 hours. For you to patch, hardly it will take 10 minutes. 10 to 15 minutes hardly, even though you don't want to watch the whole 5 hours. Just download the setup file, copy the setup file, open the setup file, next patch. I even told you multiple times patching is very important, very important. Regularly we'll do the patching. Okay, so if you are not practicing the regular concepts also, there is no meaning of spending lot of time on the topics. Fine, that's okay. That's your wish. Okay, not an issue for me. Right, fine. So in the last class, we started discussing the security, right? So what is meant by principal? What is meant by securable? And we also discussed about the authentication. We also discussed about the authorization, and we also discussed about the login process. How a login can log into a SQL server, how Windows authentication will work, how SQL authentication will work. You're able to see my screen, right, guys?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Let me check what happened. This is batch 57, right? Why I'm unable to connect, and this is the one I guess for HM. This is also not the one.
Second one. Yeah.
Thank you. Right. Right. Okay. So how Windows authentication will work, how a SQL authentication will work, why it don't ask the password for Windows authentication, and internally how it will verify the password, username and password while connecting to the SQL server, how to create a login, and just creating the login, how to create a Windows login and all. So we discussed in the last session, guys. Okay. And in today's session, we'll also discuss about the SQL login creation process, how to create a SQL login. There is one more small extended concept for this, which is very important. That's how we'll deal in the organization. That is called group login. Okay. So how a group login concept will work. Okay. So who is going to create the groups, how we will give access to the groups, and we'll start discussing the security roles. I mean to say the server roles. Okay. So what is server role, how many types of server roles are there, what each role will do, what is the responsibility of each role, how to add any login to the server role, how to remove any login from the server role, and we'll also discuss about the database roles, and we'll also discuss about the accessing the databases, giving access on the database level, giving access on the table level. And as I said in the last class, a 10 minutes security discussion will be there. Just concentrate on the 10 minutes. That's what we will do in the organization. The 10-minute session is enough. But don't be relaxed. Okay, you should learn the subject. Okay, to understand while giving the permissions, it is very sensitive. If you don't know what kind of permissions he will get it. Okay, so without knowing, if you give the permissions and all, it will create a problem. So that's why try to concentrate on the subject, but still, in case if you feel that it is kind of too deep, just concentrate on that 10 minutes security session. That is enough. Right. Okay. So now, in the last class, I just shown you how to create a Windows login. So in today's session, we'll start with creating SQL login. Okay. Any questions, guys, so far? Just a minute. Just a minute, guys. One. Right, sorry for that, guys. Fine, let me check whether I'm able to connect or not. Okay, and let me connect to this default instance. Right, okay. So in the last class, we discussed about the Windows login, right? So now quickly we'll create a SQL login. Okay, quickly we'll create a SQL login. So how to create a SQL login, guys? Right click on this new login. If you want to create a Windows login, you have to choose Windows authentication, guys. The logins that are using Windows authentication is called Windows login. The logins that are using SQL authentication is called SQL login. Clear? Everyone, is it clear, guys? The logins that are using Windows authentication is called Windows login. The logins that are using SQL authentication is called SQL login. Microsoft Entra ID authentication is a new authentication. Okay, so in the latest versions like 19, 22 and all, we can see this. This is related to the Azure account. Azure account, using that Azure account, we can log in. So that is called Microsoft Entra ID authentication. For now, we are not going to use anything. So in the previous versions, you can see these two only. When you go to the create login phase, we can see only these two options in the previous versions and all. So as we have already created Windows authentication, so I'm going to show you how to create a SQL authentication. Select SQL. Before creating the SQL server, let me connect to a SQL server using SQL authentication. Okay, done. And login, what I'll give maybe Smith. Okay, I'll give the login as Smith. And password, don't know. I'm just giving one random password. So can Smith connect to the SQL server, guys? Tell me.
No.
No. Why?
Because we don't have an account.
Very good. Very good.
There is
Yeah.
no
Yeah, Sharath, your voice is breaking. Yeah, so Smith doesn't have entry in the SQL server. If you see here, I told you like the point is very clear. Those who are there in this list only can connect to the SQL server. So Smith account is not there in this list, so Smith cannot connect to the SQL server. So if I'm trying to connect to the SQL server using Smith, okay, I'll get, okay, this is certificate. See, error means again you have to concentrate on the error. Okay, we have to concentrate on the error. Okay, Shanmukh said error will come. This is a separate error. See, the certificate chain was issued by authority that is not trusted. So how to fix this one?
Mm,
should be
Yeah,
optional.
host name in the trust certificate we need to.
Either make this as optional, okay, encryption,
Yeah.
or if it is mandatory, select this trust server certificate. Okay, so now I'm trying to connect. Okay, using Smith account. See, this is the correct error. Login failed for the user Smith. Okay, show details. If you click on the show details, you can see the same information. Login failed for the user Smith. Okay, so some content and all will be there, some policies and all will be there. So this is how you can see, but it's not like exact solution. But the one thing that we came to know is Smith cannot log in. This is expected. Why? Because there is no entry to the Smith in the logins list. So definitely he cannot connect to the SQL server, guys. Okay, click OK. Now how to fix this issue? Now tell me how to fix this issue.
We have to create a login
You have
to
to
Smith.
create a login to Smith. Okay, so remember guys, you will get the requests for the permissions and all. Whenever you got any request for permission related thing, creating account, if his account is, sometimes if his account is there, you have to give the permissions. Sometimes if Smith account is not there or user account is not there, you have to create the account and you have to give the access. Now security is very sensitive. You have to keep this point in mind, and you have to keep 2 points in mind while giving access. One is proper change request is there or not. A valid ticket, at least ticket we need. Okay, a valid ticket, valid request is there or not. First thing. Second thing is mail approval from their managers. Mail approval from their managers or the higher authority. Okay, mail approval from their managers or higher authority. So here you have to keep this point in mind. They will play some tricky games and all. How they will play some tricky games. Imagine Smith is a developer. Smith will sometimes he will directly come back to us, DBA team. Hey, DBA team, can you please give access on so and so sales database, data reader, data writer permission. So definitely we'll ask, sure, we can give it, no issues. Plus, but for the auditing purpose, please raise a request and make sure we have the approvals. Okay, or we need an approval from your manager or from your next level. So what Smith will do? Smith will send an email to his manager. Okay, so hi manager, I want access on the sales database so and so server. I want read access, like that they will send an email. Smith will send an email and manager will approve. He will simply mention approved. Some managers will clearly written the approval. Clearly they will write the approval like this is approved to access the sales database on so and so server. Some managers, 90% managers, they will simply reply like approved. What Smith will do, generally not everyone, sometimes we have to face this kind of issues also. Smith took the approval for sales database for read permissions, but in the ticket he will mention lot of other databases, other permissions also. You have to compare the ticket and approvals, guys. For manager, to which object he gave the approval, what kind of permissions he approved, the same thing should be mentioned in the ticket also. Sometimes developers, they will take access for one database, one permission or two permissions. They will include multiple permissions in the ticket. If you are blindly following, okay, there is an approval from the manager, right? Don't blindly follow it. Go through that mail approval. Check what Smith requested their manager and make sure both are same in the manager approval mail and in the ticket what Smith raised. Both permissions objects both are same or not, then only proceed. Otherwise, he will take permissions like one permission, he will take one permission like reader permission and he will include writer permission, DB owner permission and all. So which will be risky. When there is an auditing, they will ask you only. So in the ticket they mentioned in the mail approval, it is showing a reader access on sales database, but you gave write access DB owner permission. How come? Like, so these kind of issues also you have to face. So two things you have to keep in mind. One is proper request or ticket, and second one is proper mail approval, and compare both and you have to give the permissions, guys. Any questions here so far? Are we good? Right.
Yeah.
Fine. So now Smith will raise a request and he will ask some permissions. Now I'm creating a login to Smith. I guess it's already opened, right? Yeah. Now just give Smith name. Guys, for Windows authenticate, for Windows login, what is the prerequisite? For Windows login, for creating a Windows login, what is the prerequisite?
We should have a user account, local user account in the
Very
Windows.
good. Very good. In the Windows level, we should have a user account. Then only we are able to create a login for Windows. Okay, Windows login you can create. For SQL authentication, there is no prerequisite. You can create logins. Okay, so Smith, I'm just selecting like I gave the name as Smith. Password, you can give the strong password. You have to give the strong password. So I'm giving the strong password, guys. If you want to give the weak password, it will still accept the weak password like 123, but you have to uncheck this one. Don't uncheck this enforce password policy. If you uncheck it, it's security kind of breach. Okay, don't create it for testing purpose. If you want to give 123 login and all, you can give it. Okay, Normally in the organization, don't uncheck this. In the practice, you can uncheck it so that it will accept 123 password. If you checked it means you have to give minimum 8, one caps, one small, whatever password you are using now to log into the Windows machine. You can use that is also a strong password, right? You can use the same password. Okay. So enforce password policy means it has to follow the password, means every 45 days it will expire kind of thing, password expiration. So user must change. This is also very important. Why? Because I know Smith password now. I know Smith password. I can simply connect and I can simply select Smith and I can log into the SQL server or database using Smith account and I can delete some objects, right? Like if you have your debit card pin with others, how come they are able to debit the money? In the same way, I know Smith password. So how can we are going to fix this issue, guys? As DBS knows the logins password, how this will be fixed? Using this option, user must change password at next login means I'll give the credentials to Smith. Hey Smith, as per your request, your account has been created and provided with the permissions on so and so server and so databases. Please go and check and let us know whether we are good to close this ticket or not. So what Smith will do, Smith will try to connect to the SQL server. Once he connected, we'll give the default password to Smith, right? He will enter the default password like default pin for the first time. If you are using the debit card, they will give default pin, right? Immediately once you give the default pin, what will happen on the screen? Immediately, the next minute, the next second,
We have to change
It
the
asks for
pin.
it will
yes.
ask you to change the pin immediately. Other than that, you don't even go to the next step also. If you don't change the pin, you cannot go to the next step also. Why? Because users knows your password, those who created. So there is a chance that they can misuse it. So that's why once Smith is trying immediately, he will get the next screen like to change the password. So Smith will give his own password. So there is no chance of okay knowing the passwords of others. Clear, guys? Fine. Now I'm just creating a normal login account. I'm not going to give any type of access to Smith. Okay. So a normal login can connect to SQL Server, guys. Tell me.
Yes, it can connect, but it can't access any database.
Sharath, is my audio clear to you?
Yes, you're,
Okay. Your voice
I'm
is
not
totally breaking.
able to see.
Okay. Your voice is totally breaking. That's why I'm asking. Fine. No issues. Becky, please. Becky, you're asking something means you are too far from your mic. Just check it once. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
No, no, it's good. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, the question I want to ask is that you said based on the requirement or the request from the team, they will request for a certain logins, right?
Correct.
Is it pertaining to like a database? Because I could see that we created it on the logins for that database. Is it for a particular database that they're going to request it for?
See, whatever it is, whether he just want to connect to the SQL server, we need permissions. Even though you don't want to access any of the objects, we need without approvals we cannot go ahead and we cannot create an entry for him. First thing is, and what type of database it is, he has to mention the request in case if he wants to access a particular database, still he has to mention in the ticket. That is the correct process. Generally people what they will think, like if any request is coming from the authorized person, so generally people will think, but generally 90% of the organizations we have to follow this security principle. Okay, so this is very important, and he has to mention the databases and he has to mention the proper permissions in the ticket and as well as the approvals also. Based on that only we can go ahead and we can give the permissions, Vicky.
Okay. So
Yeah.
once we created the logins, then can Smith have access to that database after creating the logins?
See, no, it's not like that. Okay, so if
Okay.
if we are giving access, see, a Smith, I'll tell you, and a login
Okay.
can connect to SQL Server. Okay, but again, I
Right.
told you right in the previous sessions, if you are able to enter into the shopping mall, that doesn't mean you're an authorized person to access
Yeah.
every room in the shopping mall. Right? There are power rooms will be there, lot of other rooms will be there, maintenance rooms will be there. So that doesn't mean you're an authorized person to access those rooms, correct? So the same
Right.
way, a login can connect to the SQL server. That doesn't mean he can access any of the databases until and unless if you give the permissions. Okay? He cannot touch
Okay, I
it.
got you.
He can just connect to SQL server. He cannot touch it. He can see the databases, but he cannot expand or he cannot access any of the databases. Guys, a login, a normal either Windows log permissions wise, both are same. Either it is a Windows login or SQL login, the functionality is same for both the logins. There is no confusion here. One point is without any login entry, no one can connect to SQL Server. First point. Second point is even though a login entry is there, if we don't have proper permissions to access the databases, he cannot access the databases. Okay, a normal login can simply connect to SQL Server. I'll show you that one. I'll show you the demo also. It can simply connect to the SQL Server, but he cannot access, he cannot do whatever he want. Okay, for that we have to give explicit access, guys. Again, we have to give the respect to access the particular objects, guys. Clear? Everyone.
Yes.
Now,
Thank you, sir.
yeah, no problem. So now Smith account is created. Now let's try. Now Smith can connect, guys. Can Smith connect to the SQL server now?
Yes.
Yes.
Very good. So what I have to choose now? If Smith wants to connect to the SQL, is Smith now Smith. This is Smith SSMS. Smith is trying to connect now. I told him like, hey, Smith, your account is created. Now Smith opened SSMS and what he has to choose now? He gave the server name. Then
Password.
SQL
this is the
authentication.
Authentication.
okay authentication SQL server.
SQL Server
Okay.
authentication.
Now
SQL.
login Smith.
Smith.
I even shared password to Smith use via email. So Smith has a default password. Now Smith is trying with the default password. Now can he connect?
Yes.
Trust
Server.
server certificate.
Trust
Yeah.
server certificate.
That's the
Very,
server
Yes, sir.
certificate.
Trust.
very good. Now can he connect?
Yes.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let me try. So connect. So I am getting 18456. The Shanmukh.
Why? Because
Mm,
in this instance, why we install, we have given Windows authentication, not mixed mode, right?
okay, very good.
No, he had
What
changed
about
his password, I think.
change it immediately? Where is Smith to change the password?
After login, then only we can able to change.
Correct.
No,
So,
We
yeah,
have to fix,
tell me, guys.
we have to change the property mixed mode authentication.
Ah,
Yes, it's right.
Mm-hmm.
very good. Okay, good, guys. You are following. So, correct. See, when I install SQL Server, whether you remember it or not, during the installation, I have selected Windows Authentication. That means for now, only Windows logins can connect to the SQL Server, where I can see that one go to server properties. Go to server properties and go to security page. There you can see which authentication it is. Okay. What is authentication, guys? What is the current authentication? Windows
Windows
authentication.
Trust
authentication.
authentication.
And now that means only Windows logins can connect to the SQL Server. Like last time Mark connected, right? Mark is a Windows login. So that's why only Windows people can connect to the SQL Server now. If Windows plus SQL has to be connected means which authentication we have to choose? Mixed mode authentication. Okay, select this. That's why as SQL authentication is not selected here, so that's why SQL logins are not working here. Because you have to learn like this, guys, with the troubleshooting. If someone suddenly comes to you, hey, I'm unable to log in, means you cannot break your heads immediately. Just go and check simple things, okay? See, after knowing the solution, everyone like will think like, okay, it's very simple, right? How I missed. So if you miss this one, you have to spend 2 3 days. Okay, so that's how it will be. So only Windows logins can log into this SQL Server for now, as it was configured with a Windows authentication. If you select SQL Server authentication and Windows authentication called mixed mode authentication, both SQL people can and Windows people also can log into the SQL Server. Now I'm clicking OK. Now can Smith connect, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let me try now. Okay, SQL authentication and Smith and password. Okay, trust server certificate. Right, I'm connecting, guys, now. Okay, and connect. Still I'm getting 184. Guys, in the logins, 18456 is very famous error. Okay, when you will get 18456 error, guys? When you will get 18456 error? Login
The
failed.
given credentials are not right.
Yeah, login failed. The normal general statement is login failed. So login failed can be any reason. Maybe password mismatch or username not there, or the particular password you are giving that is a wrong password, or if account is itself not created. Okay, in all these scenarios, you'll get 18456. Guys, remember when we will get 18456? If in the logins list, if login is not present, you will get 18456. If you are giving wrong username, you'll get 18456. If you are giving wrong password, you'll get 18456. In these three scenarios, you will get 18456. Okay, remember this. Now, why still I'm unable to connect? Why still Smith is not able to connect to SQL Server?
Refresh the.
Refresh. Okay, fine. Let me try then. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, now let me connect. Okay, connect and yes, Vicky, please.
Yeah, I was thinking because you were asking the question, I was thinking maybe because what you said the other time, Smith can log in, maybe it's not permitted.
No, 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 no. It should permit. The base concept is same. There is no change. Smith has to connect it. It has to be. It should permit. Okay, but
Mhm.
you cannot access the databases. Okay, so
Okay.
that point is very, very clear. If you create an entry in the logins list, he should connect. There is no change in that. Okay,
Okay.
even they don't have any database access, any object level access, still he should be able to connect, and that is the concept. There is no change in that, but still I am unable to connect. Don't think Shanmukh you are giving wrong password or what. No, I'm giving correct password only.
How about
Maybe,
if the server is not available at this,
If the server
also
is
can
not
it?
maybe you need to restart the services.
if the
Oh
server is
yeah, that's another
available,
thing. Yeah,
if the server
Restart the
is not available.
services, maybe.
yeah, maybe that could help. Yes, it's true.
Okay. So if the server is not available, I cannot even refresh also. Okay, server is available and you can see the play button. Okay, so it's up and running. And B, you are correct. Okay. After changing some of the whether you observed it or not, it asked to restart the server after changing the authentication. So when I changed the authentication, you have to restart. So this point you have to remember because it's not like every time you can change it. Okay, if you want to change it means you have to again restart it. Either you can change during the installation or immediately after installation in the post installation steps you can change it. Otherwise, some like I'll change after 1 month or 2 months, then that will create a problem. You have to take downtime approvals to change this. Why? Because it will affect when you restart the SQL server. So now let's restart the SQL server. Right click and restart the SQL server. Yes. And yes. So guys, a quick question. Okay, so whenever we create a new login, do we need to restart every time? People
No.
may
No.
have this
No,
kind
no.
of doubt.
No.
Last batch or
No.
previous batches, people ask Shanmukh, whenever I create a new login, I have to restart or what? Not at all. Okay, you should learn with the learn the course with the errors, right? So that's why. Okay, these are all small errors. Okay, so that at least you cannot stuck with these small errors. Fine. Now we are safe, guys. We are good now. Let's connect again, and this time choose SQL authentication and Smith and password and trust server certificate. Now Smith can connect.
Yes.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Akka?
Yes.
Akka.
Try, let's
What if
see.
I give wrong password?
It will give you the error and then you change your password.
Yes, we are able to connect now. See here, when Smith is trying to connect, immediately it is asking for new password and confirm password. Okay, so I'm just changing the password. I means the Smith will change the password. Okay, will not test and will not give, guys. Our duty is to create the accounts, whether it is working or not. Shanmukh tested, I'll also test. No, again you have to give another password. Again that password also, right? We will not test it. The testing and all will be done in your lower environment only, and it should work. If you create it properly, no need to test it. Okay, it will work properly, guys. Now see here, Smith is able to connect now. And see, let's see what Smith can see actually. Smith can see all the three databases like others, like an admin, how he can see all the three databases. Smith also can see. Now tell me the changes between this and this, guys. Okay. Tell me
The SQL Server agent is not there.
Very good, super. And tell me other changes also. What and all other changes you can only concentrate in this object.
So on server, we can see it's a login by administrator, but here we
Very
can
good,
see only the
super,
Smith name.
super. Tell me any 3, 4 changes. It's difficult to, okay, let me try it in this way. Maybe it will help, but okay. Now,
Yeah, here in the login session, on the server, we can see the all the administrator, the accounts who are created, but in Smith account, we can able to see only the Smith account.
very good, Tabasum.
Also the database.
Databases you can see.
Database.
You can see, yeah. Both Smith and administrator also can see the databases. Same state and all they can see. Okay. So now one thing you have to remember, that is the first point what Tabasum said is agent. Okay. Two things. One is logins list. If you can see only your login, how quickly to identify whether you have a proper person to connect to the SQL server or not, one is logins list. So if you see the logins list, Smith can see only his account. Actually, there are a lot of logins are there. See how many logins are there in the admin. This guys, this is administrator connection. This is Smith connection. I don't want you to confuse. I'll do one thing. Okay, I'll open another SSMS. So because people will be confused so easily that on the upper, like the above place, like I'm doing lot of things, and like the below Smith connection cannot do all the things. So what I'll do, I'll open another SSMS. I'll connect as Smith in that SSMS. Okay, so that it will be clear. So let me open it. So this is how you can see when you see if user is not able to see agent, or sometimes when you are connecting to the SQL server, if you're also not able to see the agent, SQL server agent, see how agent is there, SQL server agent, here you cannot see. Server is same, guys. Don't think this is a separate server. You can see the server name. You can see the server name. Server is same. This is administrator connected to this server, and this is a user connected to the same server. These are not two servers. Okay. So this is an administrator connection. This is a user connection. So now, if you don't see agent, there are two scenarios you cannot see agent. Tell me, guys, in what scenarios you cannot see agent? One scenario, right? Just now we discussed. One scenario is
Login has been created, but he doesn't have the
very good.
permissions.
If he is not an authorized
User is not created, right?
yes, not
Yeah.
user. No, that is different concept again. Okay, so even if user is created, he cannot
Okay,
see
okay.
it. Okay, he should have another permission.
Okay, we have not given the permissions.
Correct. If you don't have enough permissions, then you cannot see agent. That is one scenario. Second scenario, you can guess it. In the SQL Server Express edition.
SQL.
Okay, so we have different editions, right? Express, Valuation, Enterprise, Standard, Work Group.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the Express edition, there is no SQL Server agent. So if
Okay.
you can see this, if Smith can see this, means if Smith is a DBA, if can see means either he should be a DBA. Still, if he is seeing means either it should be an Express edition, or he doesn't have proper permissions to see the agent, guys. Clear, everyone?
Samukh, if the version of the SQL server is down the 2012,
2012, then
all agent
no,
server
that is
agent
wrong. That is wrong. That is wrong. Only in the Express edition. Okay. Only in the Express edition there is no SQL Server agent. Even though that is a 2000, 2005, 2008, 8 or 2, whatever version it is. Okay. So if it is not an Express edition, you can see the agent if you have proper permissions.
Okay.
Okay, why? Because if there is no agent, then there is no automation, right? So only explicit. So explicit is free. So as it is free, you cannot use all the features. So that's why there is no agent in the wantedly there is no agent in the explicit. Okay, fine, guys. Clear? Any questions, doubts so far? How a SQL login can log into SQL Server?
Eh,
So now this is an administrative.
Shamuk,
Yeah, yeah, B, please.
if you have a developer edition, right?
Hmm.
But you did not enable agent, what will you see it here or no?
See, we can see it. If we don't enable, the agent will be in stopped state. That's it.
Okay, but when you log in without the right permissions, you still see it.
Yes, you can see. You can see. The agent
Okay.
will show you
Okay.
the stopped state. I mean to say, if he has permissions only, he can see. Right permissions, he should have to see the agent, even the agent is running or it is in the stopped state. Okay? A normal login cannot see agent. If you have proper permissions, then only he can see agent, even though agent is in stopped state or is up and running. Okay? Fine. Now see here, guys. This is administrator connection. Now just keep an eye every time for the next two classes where I am doing what I am doing. Okay, the connection. Okay, administrator. Administrator is a king in the SQL server. He can do everything. He can access any of the databases. He can see the tables, whatever he want. He can see. Okay, he can see the logins. He can see the agent. Everything he can see as he's an administrator. On the other hand, if you go to this is the Smith connection. Smith also can see the databases, but when Smith is trying to access the database, he will get the error. Why? Why, guys? Because he
We
is
had
not
not
an
given
authorized.
permissions to.
Correct. He is not an authorized person to access the databases. Okay, he can just see the databases, but he is not an authorized person. We don't even give any type of permissions to Smith. So that's why even the Smith is able to connect, but Smith is not able to utilize the permissions or not able to see all the features of the SQL Server because of his permissions. Clear, guys, everyone? Is it clear now? Are we good?
Yes.
Any questions, doubts so far?
Yes.
Right. So now, if we are good, let's extend this topic to the next level. Okay, simple, simple. Don't think next level means too deep. Very simple.
Yeah, Shanmukh, here I have one doubt.
Yes, yes, please. Tabassum.
Previously, when we discussed in this orphan logins,
Tabassum,
while we
one
restore
point.
the
One point.
database,
One point. If it is orphan
hmm,
logins, leave it. There is a separate concept. There we'll completely discuss it. Okay, because
yeah, yeah.
orphan
So
just
I
for
just
the as
want,
we are already
okay,
discussing the concept, so I just added one point called orphan user. So a lot of people have doubts on the orphan users, but currently this is not the right time to discuss about the orphan user. Okay, I'll show you on the
okay,
live,
okay.
then you can ask the doubt. Okay, so anyhow,
Yeah,
we
sure.
discuss a lot of concept, right? So if we tell about orphan user, immediately it will be like it's a valid point to you. That's why I explained that orphan user. But in the migration, I'll show you what is orphan user, how you will get it, how to check it, how to verify it, how to fix it. Everything will be discussed. Okay, fine.
Sure.
Yeah, so now let's extend this concept, okay, to the next level. So till now we are using a single login. Okay, till now we are using a single login. Shanmukh said whoever there in the logins list can connect to the SQL server. That is what Shanmukh said. Right? Correct, right? This is valid, right? Whoever there in this logins list, they can connect to the SQL server. Now my question is, imagine if 10 people are there. Imagine if 10 people are there. All these 10 people wants to connect to this database. All these 10 people wants to connect to this database and they all want read permissions. They all want read permissions. Okay. Now in this scenario, how many times I have to give access to all the 10 people, guys? How many times I have to give access to all the 10 people? Tell me. 10 people wants to
10 times.
10
10
times,
times.
correct? For every person, I have to give access on Amazon database, like first, second, 10, like up to 10 times you have to give. Imagine if 100 people are there,
100 times.
100 times, right? Very good. 100 people are there means 100 times. Imagine if two servers are there and 100 people are there. two servers, 100 people are there. I have to give access to a database
200 times.
both the
200 times.
200 times. Imagine if 100 servers are there, 100 into 100,
100 into 100.
200.
100 into 100,
200.
10,000. 10,000.
10,000, okay? 10,000 times I have to give the permission. Very difficult, right? If someone left the organization only for 100 servers, imagine if we have 1,000 servers, 100 users are there, 100 into 1,000, 1 lakh times. Imagine if one person left the organization. If one person left the organization, from the 100 users, one person left the organization, what I have to do? I have to again remove his access from all 1,000 servers, right? 1,000 times I have to remove his access, right? To avoid this issue, okay, we have a concept called group login. What is that, guys? Group login. Okay, so group login in the sense, in the Windows level, we'll create a group. Okay, listen carefully, very simple. This is how we'll follow in the organization, guys. In the Windows level, we'll create a group for now. In like going forward, it will be Active Directory. In the Windows level, we can create a group, and what we can do, users, right? Okay, and imagine the users are there. Imagine 3 users are there. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll group them together in the Windows level, and what I'll do, I'll create a login for them in the SQL Server, guys. I'll create a login for them in the SQL Server so that their account is created in the SQL Server. Okay, their account will be created in the SQL Server, and then let me. Okay, and then what these people can do, they can enter into the SQL Server, guys. Now these 3 people, instead of giving one person, it can be 3 people or 300 people, guys. Okay, like 3 people or 300 people, we don't know. We will simply create a group with one person. Also, we can create a group with a single person. We can create a group. So I'll directly give access to this group. Remember, I'm not giving to any person. In the 100 people, I'm not giving to any person. I'm creating a group and I'm giving access to the group. So all the group people who are there in this group, there is an entry created for them in the SQL Server. So all 100 people can connect to the SQL Server, guys. Are you getting the point? Guys, are we getting the point? Is it clear, everyone? So instead of creating one person, what I'll do, I'll simply create a group. So I'll create an entry for that particular group, okay, in the SQL Server. So at a time, with a single click, they all can connect to SQL Server. In that group, 100 people can be there, 1,000 people can be there. Instead of creating 1,000 times, 1,000 logins, simply one group login is enough. And in that group, that people are there, that 100 or 1,000 are there. So simply when a new guy joined in the organization, okay, he will be added to one group. So this group is already having access to the SQL Server. So from SQL Server side, do I need to do anything, guys, as a DBA? Do I need to do anything? Not required. Why? Because
No.
he's a part of the group where that group is already having access on the server, already having access on the database. If he's a new joinee, based on, if, for example, if he's an HR, HR will be added to the HR group, so that what the HR group is having access, that guy, the new guy can easily access all the objects. What this group is having permissions. Now I'm giving permissions to group, not any individual person. If one guy left the organization, simply we can remove this guy from the group so that he will immediately lose access on all the databases and all the objects. Is it clear, guys? Everyone? That is called group login. Okay, so we can create group logins. Generally, Windows team will create a group login. Windows level, we have to have a group first. For that, once the group is created, then we can immediately, okay, what we can do, we can immediately create a login entry in the SQL Server. Once a login entry is created for this group login, then automatically whoever there in that group can connect to the SQL Server. Again, permissions wise, all are same. If it is a Windows login or SQL login or group login, A normal login can connect to SQL Server, but he cannot do anything, guys. Permissions will never change. Whatever we discussed earlier, that point is very clear. Just I am telling about the entry. Okay, the entry, like a SQL login can enter, a Windows login can enter, a group login can enter into the SQL Server, guys. No, that's what Kalyani, that's why I mentioned this point. Don't think that a Windows login will have access to the data. Is it right, Kalyani? If Windows login will have, is it what we discussed in the last class? I even shown you with Mark, right? Mark can access all the databases now. Do you think that like a Windows login can access, guys? Is it like that? It will work. A Windows login can access all the databases without permissions.
No.
Not at all. Don't think again. I mentioned multiple times. If it is a Windows login or group login or SQL login, concept is same. An account can connect to SQL Server. That doesn't mean he can do whatever he want. That doesn't mean he can access whatever object he want. Not at all. Even though that's a Windows.
Authorization is required.
Yes.
Sir,
It's
authorization
correct.
is required, right?
Permissions are required. Okay. So even though he's a Windows login, even though he's a SQL login, even though he's a group login, permissions wise, all are on the same bench. Okay. Just for our feasibility, if we have 1,000 logins in the logins list, it looks awkward. So people will come, people will go. Every time we cannot create an account, every time we cannot delete the account. Very difficult to manage. If 10,000 users are there across the globe, you can imagine how much list it will be. So it doesn't look good. So that's why, and security wise also, we don't follow individual logins practice. So security wise, the secured option is group logins only. Why? Because this is what you can see in the organization. Slowly you have to learn, right? So Shanmukh, you said mark should be there, the entry should be there in the logins list. Now in the next screen, you don't see entry, but still he can connect. Why? How? Because he may be member of any group. For that group, already login entry is created. So that's why he should be able to connect. Is it clear, guys? Now, everyone, Kalyani.
Yes.
Yeah, Shanmugh.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, Sridhar.
Shama, I have a question.
Please,
Oh, okay.
please. Yes, yes, no problem. Go ahead. No issues. You can ask.
So
Yeah.
if
Go ahead, B. We'll
go ahead, Shana. Okay. So if we create a group account, right? Let me say we have 5 DBAs working and we create a DBA account, right?
Yes.
And we give that DBA account access to SQL Server and we give them sysadmin privs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do we track who does what?
See, very good question actually. That person is not going to log in with the group name. The person will log in with his own name. So whatever he is doing, as his name is present in the SQL Server login, groups login, SQL Server will allow him to connect. So if he deleted any object, immediately it will be tracked with his name only. So generally, see, here there is a small line is there. You have to differentiate. If I create a group login and if he is trying to connect with the group login name, then whatever he is doing or any group, any person of that group is doing, we cannot track it. Simply it will show you that group name only. If you deleted the object, it will show you the group name. But even though we have a group login here, still, okay, still any of this, if this person wants to connect to the SQL server, imagine this person wants to connect to the SQL server, we'll add him into the group. But this guy, when he open SSMS, he has to give his name only. He has to give his name and his password only. But he's part of the group, so SQL server will allow him. So if he deleted any object with his name, it will be tracked easily. And some people will do this way also. They will create a default login. You are talking about a default login where everyone will use the same login name. In that scenario, if you are using a default login with the same name, if any person deleted any object, we cannot track him. Are you getting the
Yes,
point?
that's the issue. That's the issue
So
we're
there is a
facing.
difference between
Yeah.
default login and a group login. So you are asking about the default login. If I give one default account, hey, all the team members, please use the some SQL DBA underscore TCS. Okay, please use only this entry to connect to the SQL server. So everyone will use SQL DB underscore TCS as a username, and they will connect to SQL server. And if someone deleted any object, that will show you SQL DB underscore TCS name only. We cannot identify who deleted the object. No, we don't use a default login. Group login is different than the default login. So here the person will log in with his own name. But verifying while validating, the SQL server will check whether this person, any entry is there in any of the logins list or in any of the group list he is part of it or not. If he is part of any of the group or if he is part of the logins list, then it will allow. Then if B is part of it and B should connect with her name only, she will give B and she will give her password. So if B deleted the object, easily it will be tracked as B deleted the object. Clear? So there is a difference between a default login. I'll show you the difference. Now you don't worry. There is a difference between a default login and a group login. Both are not same.
So Samuk, when we expand the group, it will show the
It
logins,
will not show. It will
whatever.
not show. It will not show. I'll tell you how to show. Okay. I'll tell you how to see and who are
So,
the members of the group. I'll show you. Okay. Don't worry.
so how we will remove the logins in the group?
That also will be discussed. That also will be discussed. That we will not do from the our side. Windows team has to remove it. Okay. I'll show you. Don't worry. Creating Windows group, adding users to the Windows group, removing users from the Windows group will be done by Windows team only. Okay, even though we know the process, still we are not an authorized person to do that. So Windows, we will inform to Windows team, they will add or they will remove the person from the group. Yes, Sridhar, please.
While giving access, we can select group also, no? For Windows
Yeah,
authentication.
we can select group also. Guys, group login is there only for Windows logins. There is no SQL group logins. Okay, group login in the sense that is Windows authentication only. There is no SQL group. Only Windows login group is there.
Am I audible, right?
Yes, yeah, tell me.
In a complete group, only one person have to access more, like databases and something. Right? If we can give it to the only one person in the group.
Again, very good question. So, Shanmukh, now very good question. Now, whatever permissions are there, these all 100 people will have same permission. Why? Because I'm giving access to group, not to individual person. Are you getting the point, guys? If the group is having 10 permissions, means 100 people in the group or 1000 people in the group will have all 10 permissions. Again, I'm saying I'm giving access to group. As you are part of that group, so whatever group is having, you will also have the same kind of access. Now Radha is asking, okay, Sharath, I guess. Sharath is asking, now Shanmukh, this person should have a different access in that scenario. In that scenario, again, you have to request Windows team to create a separate group with this person. Okay. So you have to create one more group. They have to create one more group with the same person. And to this group, I'll give a separate permission. Are you getting the point now? Okay. Only in this group, if this guy wants only one permission, there is a separate group login should be there. Because tomorrow someone will come with the same kind of permission. So again, tomorrow, if I can create another login, instead of creating another login, I can simply add him to this group, right? I can save it. Clear, Sharath?
Yeah. Yeah, Shanmukh.
Yes, please, Sridhar, yeah.
Yeah. That group should be created by Windows team only.
Windows team only.
After that, yeah.
After that, we have to create an entry in the
Yeah,
SQL server. I'll show you.
Yeah. That group should be in the local user also need to be there. After that only we can access.
I'll tell you.
And here Windows level means he has a Windows level super rights, like segment rights, everything he can do anything, but come to this application he can't able to do.
No, not at all. That is completely
At
different
this point.
concept, Sridhar. Okay, so
Yeah.
any login, guys, people will think Windows means he's a super user. Not at all. Okay, Windows means don't think he's a super user. That is one way of logging into the machine. Okay, SQL means one way of logging into the SQL server. That's it. Windows team can limit us. Okay, even though I'm able to log into Windows server, that doesn't mean I can do whatever I want. In the same way, if any person can connect to SQL server, means that doesn't mean he can do whatever he want. So Windows team can limit us at any point. Sometimes when you connect it to the server, you don't see power button. You cannot shut down the server. It won't show you restart or power button because you are not an authorized person. Even though you logged into the Windows server, you are not an authorized person to restart or shut down the server. When Windows guy logged into the Windows machine, then only he can see the power button. He can see the shutdown restart button because at any point of time we can restrict the user. Either it can be a Windows or SQL login. If we cannot restrict the user, there is no meaning of security. Yes, Kalyani, that is possible. Okay, I'll tell you that concept will comes under Active Directory. See now the same concept. Okay, I don't want to discuss now. Just I'll tell you only one point. For this one server, I have to create a group. If we have 100 servers in every server, instead of creating 100 groups, we'll have a super machine called Active Directory. So in the Active Directory, we'll simply create a group. So that Active Directory will control all the servers, guys. Okay, this concept will be discussed again in the future. Maybe we'll discuss after 2-3 weeks, guys. Okay, if we have two servers like this and the Active Directory can control two servers, 200 servers, 2000 servers also. So when I create any group in the Active Directory based on their roles and responsibilities, okay, that group can log into the servers, guys. That is called Active Directory. That's what an Active Directory will do. Okay, so don't worry for now. Just okay, try to get the word what Active Directory will do. That's it. Active Directory is a centralized security system. See, now every server I have to create a group like this to give the access. If we have Active Directory, we don't need to give access to all the servers. We don't need to, I mean to say, we don't need to create group in every server. If you create a group in AD and if the servers are part of the AD, they can able to access. But again, access in the sense, don't think they can control it. Access is different, control is different. Okay, access means can connect, control means can do anything. Clear, everyone, guys? Right. So now let's go and create a group login. Okay, very simple. So to create a group login, remember this point. We are not an authorized person. Group login means Windows login only. So to create Windows login or Windows level group, we are not an authorized person. In the organization, we have to request Windows team. So Windows team will create a login. So what is the process of giving access to any person in the organization? A person called Smith wants to connect to SQL Server. Okay, now the process will starts like this. He will get an approval. He will raise a ticket. Chalo, now Smith will contact to us, DBA team. What DBA team will do? Hey, Smith, will give the access to you. Do one thing. Go to Windows team. Ask them to create a group login for you. Okay, if group is already existed, then we'll simply Smith should part of either developers or maybe some business analyst or some other people who are accessing the data. So if for Smith, imagine he's a business analyst. So already business analyst group is created. We'll simply do one thing to Smith. Hey Smith, go to Windows team, ask them to add your login to so and so group so that immediately you'll get the access. Or it's a new entry. Then we'll tell to Smith, hey Smith, go to Windows team, ask them to create a group for you and come back to the DBA team with the group name. Then we'll create an entry to the group in the SQL server. Then you are able to connect to the SQL server. This is the process, guys, in the organization. Okay, so now I'm creating the group. So this will be done. Generally, this process will be done by the Windows team. So how to create a group? lusr.mgr.msc, like last time how we created a user. In the same way, we can create users and groups. See here, users and groups. Users, okay. So what I can do, see here, mark is there. Okay, so I can create a group with a single mark. Groups, you can see here, administrator group is there. I can simply create a new group and SQL DBS group I'm creating. Okay. If you want to add any person now itself, you can add it, click add and you can type mark. Okay. Check names and click OK and create. Can I add any other person now? Can I add Likita here? Likita.
No.
Can I add? No. Why? Why I can't add?
There is no name
There is
called
no
Likita in the
Great.
user.
It's not a user yet. It has to be a
Very
user.
good. Super. Okay, in the user section, only mark is created till now. So Likita is not created. So when I click on check names, name not found, you will get it. Okay, when I type B, still not possible. Why? Because B is, there is no entry to the B in the Windows level. Forget about SQL Server for now. Entry should be there to B in the user section. There is no B here. Okay, so that's why I cannot add any other person other than Mark, guys. Okay, other than Mark, I cannot add any person. Now, yes. Okay, close it. So now I created a SQL DBA group. See, double click on it and click on the members. You can see here who are there in the part in the uh, one. Okay, just double click on it. Mark, you can see here under the members list. You can see Mark here. Okay, so now let me show you the live example. Okay, let me show you the live example. What I'll do, I'll simply remove Mark. Why? Because Mark is already having access, right? So you will be confused because of what he has access. So now in this group, no one is there, but still I can create an access to this group. Later I can add someone. They can connect to the SQL. Let me show you now. Okay, let me show you. So guys, group login is not a different login. That is also same like Windows login only. Windows login only, that is also. The name will be different. That's it. Create a login, new login, search. Okay. Here you have to give the group name, SQL DBAs, check names. Okay, you will get this error. That's fine, no issues. Okay, click close and click on object types. Select groups. It's not searching in the groups, it's searching individual users. So select groups and click OK. Now this time check names. See, I got the group name, computer name slash group name. Click OK. Okay, I don't want to give any access. I'll simply click OK. Done. Now see here how group login is created. How to identify the different. Now tell me guys, I need your observation. Very simple. How to verify whether a login is a SQL login or Windows login
In
or
SQL,
group
in
login.
SQL DBS group login, we can see more number of people,
Multiple people in there.
By
users.
looking
Yeah,
icon.
okay.
By
Icon.
looking icon.
Very
Yeah.
good. Very good. Then how to identify whether it's a SQL login or Windows login.
In the server name, we can see SQL Windows.
Very good. Very good. In the server name, you can see if it is a Windows login, you can see Windows server name. If it is a SQL login, you can simply see Smith. There is no machine name. Clear now how to identify the difference between a SQL login, Windows login, and group login, guys, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Clear? Now let me do one thing now. Okay. So what I'll do now, I'll create one user. Okay. I'll just create a user. Right click, new user. Tell me which name you want me to use. Tell me, guys.
My name.
My name. Okay. Sampath. Right. Create. Now Sampath can connect to SQL Server or not. Type your answers in the chat. Type your answers in the chat. Sampath can connect to SQL Server or not. I want to see how you understood this concept. Tabasum, tabasum. Mavni? Very good, guys. Okay, good, good. Except Tabasum, all said correct or wrong answer? Correct answer. Okay.
Okay.
Tabasum, why you are still confusing?
No. Here you have created local users, right? So who are
Correct.
members in the local users, they can connect to SQL,
Are
but
you
they can't
sure?
able to access,
Are
right?
you sure? Are you sure? Is that what we discussed since 2 classes? Those who are all part of the local user can connect to SQL Server, then where is the security? What is the minimum criteria if anyone wants to connect? What is the minimum criteria if anyone?
Yeah, sorry, login should be created.
Where is
Sorry for
the
that.
Yes.
Sampath login here?
Sorry for that.
He is not part of
Yeah, there is no
logins
Sampath
list.
login.
He is not part of any of the group. How he can connect?
Yeah.
Let me show you that also. Okay, I'll open this as a run as a different user and login as Sampath. I'll show you live, guys. You'll get a complete idea. Run as different user. Why? Because otherwise I have to log off. I have to connect as again. Okay, Sampath. Or else let me do one thing. Okay, we can do also do like this also. Control delete. I'll connect as Sampath. Okay, no problem. I'll change his password and password, confirm password. Okay. Hmm. Hmm.
No, while creating Sampath user, you never mention the password. Means you never given the password, so
I
it
didn't
should be blank.
give. I didn't give any password. Okay.
No, that's fine. You
Okay.
should leave it blank.
I thought I gave the password. Okay, no issues then. No issues then. Okay. Then we can give the password. Good observation. Very good. Okay. I forgot to give password. Generally, password should be there. Okay. Fine. So now Sampath logged into his machine. Now Sampath will open SSMS. I'll give you a break in 5 minutes, guys. Just Sampath is opening SSMS. Let's see here, we got Sampath name right here. That's why I logged with the Sampath account, okay, in the OS level. So when he open any application, we'll get his name. So I'm connecting to the default instance. As we didn't create and we are practicing the default, I'm just connecting trust server certificate. So click connect. Can he connect?
No.
No. Okay, when I click connect, definitely we'll get 18456 error. Okay, Sampath. Now let's go and create a group login. Already Sampath is part of one group. No, sorry. Already one group is created. SQL DBA group is created, but no one is there in that group. Okay. This is Sampath normal account. Groups, if you go and if you see SQL DBS, in this group, no one is there. Okay. And but we have an access to this group. Okay. What I'll do now, I'll add Sampath here. Click add and Sampath. Sampath. And check names and click OK and apply and OK. Now tell me guys, Sampath can connect to SQL Server now?
Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
His account is not there in the logins list. Can Sampath connect to SQL Server?
Yes, because
Yes,
Yes.
because
The
in
group is
group
already
login
added.
we have added.
Now I'm trying. Connect. Still, he's getting access. I mean to say, he's not able to. Why?
Restart.
Restart not required. No, not
No,
required. Not at all required. No, 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 no. That is completely wrong. Okay, only once we'll do that. Okay, tell me guys, why? Why? Refresh it, refresh it, refresh it, refresh, refresh, refresh. Okay, and 1 minute, just 1 minute. Someone is calling, just 1 minute.
Hey, what happened? We cannot hear, right? Sharmukh?
No, he's got a call. He's busy in.
Oh, okay.
He's on a call.
Mhm.
Right. Sorry, I'm back. Okay. Fine. So don't worry, guys. Okay. The concept, whatever we discussed, that is as it is. Okay. So there is no change in that. So before giving access itself, we opened SSMS, right? So there might be a catch issue, something like that. Okay. Let me close and let me reopen the SSMS. Okay. So now you can see here, right? Server name is default server and Windows authentication, Sampath account and trust server certificate and click connect. Why? It should work. Server is this one only, right? And security logins. The account is created SQL DBA. And when I click OK or not, SQL DBAs, Sampath is there. Entry is created to some path. One minute, guys. I'm just deleting this. Let me set password, okay? I'll just set the password, right? Oh, 1 minute. I didn't add the password last time. This time we'll add, okay, Sanjeev. Sanjeev. Okay, I'm giving the password 123 and 123. User must change password. User cannot. Password never expires. Create and close it. Of course, Sanjeev cannot connect now. And double click on this. I'm adding Sanjeev. Sanjeev. Check means click OK and apply. Okay. Now let me open this SSMS with another different user. Okay. Sanjeev and there might be a password issue. Last time I didn't give password, so that's why it is creating an issue.
Yeah, but I'm going to reset password.
Yes, yes, yes. It's opening. SSMS is opening, guys. Okay, Sanjeev, you can see here, Sanjeev account is there and click plus server certificate and connect. Okay, named instance. So sorry. Sorry, I'm giving the named instance, guys. Plus server certificate connect. See? It was connected, guys. Last time the account with Sampath, I forgot to give the password, right? So that might create an issue. Okay, so that's why. But concept is same, same, same. Okay, whatever we discussed, that is same. See, he connected with Sanjeev name. So whatever we discussed, those who are there in the logins list only can connect. That point is completely true. I'm refreshing the login, but Sanjeev is not part of this logins list. You cannot see entry of Sanjeev here in the logins list. But Sanjeev still able to connect because, tell me guys, because
He is a
he's part
member of
of
the
the
group.
group. Yeah, so he is a part of a group. That group is having entry. Now, if you want to see who are all part of this group, you can still see that one. Okay. XP underscore login info. Okay. Group name, you can drag and drop, comma members. Okay. Alt X. See here. Okay. So even though Sanjeev, you cannot see his name here, still he's a part of one group. So that group is having access. So that's why Sanjeev is able to connect. Are you getting the point, guys? Clear? Is this clear, everyone? Is this clear?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Guys, Tabasum, everyone. No confusion, I hope.
Yes, yes. Yeah, clear.
Yes.
Okay, so very good, guys. So if this is clear, you can take a break for 15 minutes, come back after some time. I mean to say after 15 minutes, then we'll start discussing the server roles. Okay, I'll be back in 15 minutes, guys.
Shanmu,
Yeah, B.
please, at some point, I'll need to ask you a question that I'm facing at work, please, if that's okay. Related to logins.
Logins in the will be discussed. Okay, in the offline. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I'll be back in 15 minutes, guys. Fine. So is it clear, guys? SQL login, Windows login, group login, everyone, any questions, doubts?
Please mention this query in the notes.
Oh, okay, sure. Okay. Control C. Right, okay, fine. So now let's continue, guys. Now what we have to discuss, now we are going to discuss about the server roles. Okay, server role. So what is a role? What is meant by server role? How many types of server roles are there? What are those? And what are the functionalities of each server role? What is the impact of each server role? All these things will be discussed. Right. So now what we can do, first of all, tell me guys, what is meant by role? What is a role?
Permissions.
Okay. Role, for example, forget about the SQL Server terminology. Normal role, for example, if you are in manager role, you will have set of protocols. If you are an associate role, you will have set of protocols. If you are a whatever role it is, for example, MLA will have set of protocols, MP will have set of protocols. So depends on the position of the particular person. Yeah, responsibilities you can say. Depends on the position, depends on the particular position of the particular person. Okay, everyone will have set of permissions, everyone will have set of duties to perform. So that is called a role. So in SQL Server, a role is nothing but collection of permissions. Normal role is collection of responsibilities, collection of protocols. Here, collection of permissions. Okay, collection of permissions. So role is nothing but collection of permissions. What is server role then? What is server role then? Just replace it. Just replace the definition. Rephrase the definition. Role, collection of permissions. Server role?
Collection of server permissions.
That's it. Very good. Collection of server level permissions is called server role, guys. Collection of server level permission is called server role. Okay. So now, instead of giving individual permissions, guys, we can limit any login to server level. We can limit any login to database level. We can limit any login to object level, which is table level also. Okay. I can give the access on the whole server. If he is really an authorized person, I can give the access only on a single database or on the database level, multiple databases. And I can give access on a specific object also. For example, in a database, if 100 tables are there, users don't want to access all 100 tables. He just want to access a single table. For single table, I cannot give the whole database level access, right? So that he can see other tables also. Where is the object level security? So I can even limit him to the object level. Only a particular table he should be able to access. So based on his roles and responsibilities, some people will ask on the whole server level, some people will ask on the database level, some people will ask only on the object level. So we can limit at any point in the SQL server, we can limit the users at any point, guys. Okay, so now let's first discuss, we'll go like the hierarchy wise. First server level we'll discuss, then database level we'll discuss, then I'll show you how to give an object level access. Okay, how to give access on an object level, that we will discuss, guys. Right, so now let's first start with the server level permission, server role. So in SQL Server we have, okay, in SQL Server we have 8+1 server roles are there. 8+1 server roles are there. In SQL Server we have 8+1 server roles. So why 8+1 server roles? Why not 9 server roles? Okay. Now there is a shortcut to remember those server roles, guys. Okay. BD square PS4 is the shortcut. Generally, sometimes in the interviews they will ask you, tell me the server roles and all. So BD square PS4 is the shortcut to remember the server role. B, bulk admin. D square, disk admin. D square means 2 Ds. This is how in our school age and all, or when we are studying, we use it to remember with the shortcuts only. Okay, another D for DB creator. Okay, P process admin. S4 4S will come. S4 means 4S will come. Security admin, setup admin, server admin, sysadmin. Okay, and the last one is public. Okay, these are 8, and the last one is public with 9. Public is very important. Any login by default is part of public server role. Public doesn't have any permissions other than connect to SQL Server. Okay, now let me elaborate. Go to the server, go to any login where I can see the server roles. See here on a particular login, left side you can see server role. See whatever we discussed: bulk admin, DB creator, disk admin, process admin, security admin, server admin, setup admin, sysadmin, and public. Did I selected public guys to this guy, Smith? No, not at all. By default, it was selected. You go and check any login. By default, every login is part of which server role, guys? Public server role. Public doesn't have any permissions other than connect to SQL Server. That's why when I create any login, by default, it can connect to SQL Server, even though without giving permissions. Are you getting the point, guys? Even though without giving permissions, he can still connect. Why? Because he's a part of public server role. That is by default. I cannot uncheck this. The other roles I can select and unselect. But this role I cannot select, I cannot unselect. Why? Because by default SQL Server will assign everyone will be part of the public server role. Okay, clear guys? Chalo, now let's discuss one by one. What a disk admin will do, what a DB creator will do, what a bulk admin will do. Okay, so let's discuss each role. Out of these roles, guys, generally server roles will use sysadmin only 90%. But that doesn't mean we'll give sysadmin to everyone. Okay, so server roles, the useful roles are sysadmin only. We don't use any of these roles. Any of these roles we don't use. Sometimes we'll use custom roles that we will be discussed. Okay, so let's discuss one by one. So the least roles I will not concentrate more, but normal roles like process admin, security admin and all, I'll concentrate more, guys. Fine. So now I told you, right, every server role, if you go to these logins and if you expand this server roles, you can see the same server roles here. Bulk admin is one role. What it is? What is the meaning of it then? Forget about what bulk admin will do. Bulk admin is one role. What is the meaning of that? Means
much.
Can you guess it? Can you guess it? What is the meaning?
Bulk means more.
No.
Much,
I'm not
much,
asking.
yeah.
I am not asking what permissions bulk admin will have. Bulk admin is a server role. That means what? What is meant by server role? What is meant by server role?
Inbuilt role.
Collection of permissions. Correct? Bulk admin means collection of some permissions. DB creator, collection of some permissions. Disk admin, collection of some permissions. Process admin, collection of some permissions. Like MP, collection of some protocols. MLA, collection of some protocol. Okay, senator, collection of some protocol. Like, so this is how it will be. DB creator will have set of permissions. Bulk admin will have set of permissions. Disk admin will have set of permissions. Process admin will have set of permissions. When I added any person to bulk admin, whatever permissions are there for this bulk admin will be applied on that person. If you are an MLA, whatever protocols are there, that will be applied on you. If you are an MP, whatever protocols are, that will be applied on you. If you are a senator, whatever protocols are there, you have to respect the chair. The protocols will be applied on you automatically. It's not your permissions, it's the senator permissions. As you are the senator, as you are the MLA, yes, you have the permissions. Now, if I added any login to bulk admin, he can do some operations. If I added any login to DB creator, he can do some other operations. As per the role, he has to do his whatever activities are there. As per his roles and responsibilities, we'll add him like a group login. Once I added any login to the group, he got all the permissions, right? He will get all the permissions, right? In the same way, when I added any login to this role, automatically all the permissions will be applied on that person, guys. Clear now? Is it clear, everyone? Any questions, doubts?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Fine. Now let's see what kind of permissions are there. What bulk admin will have, what DB creator will have, what disk admin will have. You can guess it with the name of, with the particular name itself. With the particular name itself, you can easily guess it. Bulk means bulk operations. A member of this role can do bulk operations. See here. How to check a permissions of any role? Any idea, any query, guys, to see that? Okay, there is a stored procedure called sp underscore srv role permission. Okay, the color will be changed, guys. If you give wrong syntax, you can see it will be black color. If you give correct syntax, it will be brown color. Okay, sp underscore srv role permission. Which role I want to see? I want to see the permissions of bulk admin. Drag and drop. Okay, now check the permissions of bulk admin. What a bulk admin will do? How many permissions are there, guys, for bulk admin? Tell me how many permissions are there?
Only two.
Only two. See how many you can see here, that many permissions are there. Okay, see here, two permissions you can see. So if I add Smith to bulk admin role, he can automatically get these two permissions. Is it clear, everyone?
Yes.
If I add Mark to this role, automatically he will get these two permissions. If I add Kalyani to this role, Kalyani will get these two permissions. Or instead of giving two permissions manually, if I add Kalyani to this role, automatically she will get the permissions. If I add Swati to this role, automatically she will get the permissions. If I add Hari to this role, automatically Hari will get the permissions. These two permissions. Okay. What? See, by this permission, remember this permission. Any login, any role, this is common permission, guys. Any role, this is the common permission. What is that? Add member to bulk admin. Add member to bulk admin. Guys, now you have 10 rupees. So when you have 10 rupees, you can give the same 10 rupees to others, right? Correct or not? Okay. If you have money, you can give the same money to others. So bulk admin means if you are a member of bulk admin, you can add others to this role, means you can give the same permission to others also. Is it clear? Add member to this role. Is it clear, guys? Okay.
Yes, right.
If you are a bulk admin, you can add other member to this role. If you are not a bulk admin, you cannot add. This permission is common for all the roles. If you are a DB creator, you can add other member to this role, to the DB creator. If you are a process admin, you can add other person to this process admin. If you are a security admin, you can add other member to the security admin. If you are a sysadmin, you can add other
It's
member.
the highest privilege, right?
Yes.
You can add
Another member to sysadmin. Means if you have sysadmin permissions, you can give it to others also. That's what administrator is doing. If you want to see what kind of administrator is having, what permissions are there for administrator, go to logins and see here administrator login. Where is that? Double click on this and select a server role. Charging ఏం చూస్తావు తల్లి నువ్వు కనిపించదు కదా. Right. Okay. See, click on the server role. See, he is a part of public. Of course, every login will be part of public. He is part of sysadmin. Means what? The administrator can do anything in the server level now. He is the king. No one can block him. He can do anything. He can give same permissions to others also. You can make, if you are a sysadmin, you can make others as a sysadmin. You can make others as a security admin. You can make others as a server admin. You can make others as a DB creator. You can add any login to the particular role, guys. So all the DBAs should have sysadmin access, because we have to do lot of things in the server level. We have to create objects. We have to delete objects. We have to like modify the objects. we should have all the permissions. We should able to give permissions to others also. So that's why DBAs are always sysadmins, guys. Clear? Now is it clear? Add member to bulk admin. So this permission is common for every role. If I go and replace DB creator, you can see add member to DB creator, add member to disk admin, add member to process admin, add member to security admin, add member to setup admin, add member to server admin, add member to sysadmin. Okay, so this is common permission for everyone. Means if you have a 10 rupees, the same 10 rupees you can give it to others in the same way. If you are part of bulk admin, you can add others also to the same bulk admin role. Okay, fine. So now, very simple. This is he is having two permissions. One is you can add other members to this role, and he can perform bulk insert operations. Whatever bulk operations are there, if you want to perform only bulk insert operations. If you want to perform one junior associate is there, junior DBA. So his duties is he has to perform only bulk insert operations, or not only junior, normal DBA, normal developer is there. He just we are segregated his duties. So a member of this guy, okay, has to perform bulk insert operations. Then instead of giving access on the whole server level, instead of adding him into the different roles, if we simply add that guy to this bulk admin role, automatically he can only do bulk insert operations. He can only do bulk insert operations. He cannot do other than this, or he can also add another member to this role. He can do two things. One, he can do bulk insert operations, and another thing is he can add other member to this role, guys. That's what a bulk admin will do. Okay, I'll give you an example with the DB creator. You will get a clear picture. Okay, now I'm checking with the DB creator. What a DB creator will do. Guess it, guys. What a DB creator will do. Guess it. You can easily guess it.
Create DBs.
Very good.
Create
Next.
DB.
Next.
Add a member.
Very good, super. Add a
Add
member
members
to this
to-
role. By default, these two are common. Next.
Drop a DB.
Very good. A person who is a creator,
Alter.
he can destroy. There is a rule, right? Who is this creator? He can destroy the world. So the same way, if you are able to create the database, you can even destroy. That means you can drop. So now you know three permissions without opening itself. Okay. A person of this role can create the databases, can drop the databases, can add member to the DB creator role. Let's see what other permissions are there. See, add member to DB creator role. This is common. He can alter the database. Very good, Tabasum. He can create the database. He can drop the database. He can extend the database. He can restore the database. Restoring is also called of creating a database. Okay, restore means it has to create a new copy. So that is also kind of restoring database is also kind of okay, creating a new database. So you can restore the database. I'll tell you how to restore it and all in the backup restore classes we'll discuss. He can restore the log file. He can rename the database. Shanmugh, do we need to remember all these permissions? Not required. Just the main permissions. DB creator means you can guess it. He can create the DB. He can drop the DB. He can add member to the role. That's enough. Bus. If you can remember, try to remember. Generally, people will not ask what and all permissions. They also don't know. But at least DB creator, you cannot say if what permissions will have a DB creator will have. You cannot say he can insert. He can insert the data. That is blunder, right? DB creator means he can create the data. He can drop the data. Of course, for every role, we have a default permission, add member to the DB creator or add member to the particular role. Now, let's go and test this. You will get an idea. What I'll do, I'll connect as a, I already connected as a Smith, right? Yeah, Smith. Smith is not part of any role. True or false?
True.
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 Except public.
That you have to mention, okay? It's
Yeah,
actually
except
false.
public.
It's actually false. Smith is a part of public server role. Okay, right? He doesn't have enough permissions, okay, to do anything. So now let's try to create a database. In the Smith connection, I am trying to create a new database. New database. Can Smith create the database? No. Smith DB.
No.
No? Why so slow? No?
No.
Okay. Click OK. Okay. So as expected, he cannot create a database. Okay. Create a database permission denied. You should get this error. Not the syntax is wrong. Okay. So it's not correct. Not the clearly it should show that bro, you don't have permissions. Okay, that kind of error you have to get it. It is clearly showing create database permission denied in master database. Click OK. Now what I'll do, I'll go to admin connection. I'll give access to Smith. I'll add him into the DB creator role. How to add him? How to add any login to the any role? Double click on the login, go to the server roles, select which role you want to add him. If you want to add him into the bulk admin, select bulk admin. Now automatically Smith will become bulk admin. If you want to make him as a DB creator, select DB creator and click OK. Now Smith is a DB creator. Earlier Smith is not able to create the database. Now just try it once. Okay. Smith connection. This is Smith connection. Now let's try to create a new database. New database and Smith DB. Okay. Click OK. Okay. So it is a different error. Please don't mind. Okay, it is a different error because I just changed a model database earlier. Okay, let me change it back to its. Okay, I cannot. Smith cannot do that. Guys, this is a separate topic concept. Don't worry. Okay, the permissions are whatever we discussed, that is correct only. So it is having an issue with model DB. So initial size, it should be more than 81 MB as per the model DB. I just changed it right to show you model DB properties and all. That's what it is. Okay, and 8 MB. 8 MB. Don't change anything to create the database. No. Earlier I changed some values, so I'm just resetting it to the previous values. Okay. Right. Now let's go to Smith connection and just refresh it. Refresh it and let me go to admin connection. This is admin connection, that is Smith connection. Okay. Admin is having all the rights. You can see here. Keep an eye here. And Smith doesn't have all the permissions. New database. It is still creating. Okay, 5 MB, 1 MB, no issues. Okay, Smith DB. Right. Just click OK. Let's see if it is creating any model database errors. No issues. Yeah. Now see, earlier Smith not able to create. Now Smith is able to create the database. Now I have a quick question for all of you. Whatever the database created by Smith, is it visible for everyone? Yes or no?
No, admin can see.
Anybody who has access to it can see
No.
it. If you
Admin can see.
Smith is the owner of
the
it.
sysadmin, no, the sysadmin can see it for now, I believe.
The others cannot see. By default,
Not yet, because they don't have access to. No, they can't.
By default, if you can connect to SQL
By
Server,
default,
you
they
can see
cannot
all
see.
the databases, right? See here.
Or you can see, but you cannot access it. Sorry.
Smith DB administrator connection. Yes, guys, he can see. The answer is everyone can see. Everyone can see Smith database. But access wise, only administrator or those who are having access, they only can access. Okay, others cannot access. Now I have a question for all of you. I just added Smith, or Smith created this database, right? Smith doesn't have access to access the other databases. Okay, Smith cannot access other databases. But Smith is able to create a new database. Smith is created the new database. Now Smith can access his database or not? Guess it. Smith can access his database or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. He
The
created it, you
answer
should
is
access it.
yes, he can. He can. Why? Because he's the creator for that. Who can create? He can destroy. So he can do that. He can do that. He can access. He cannot access the other databases, but he can access. But that doesn't mean every table and all. But there are some limitations. Okay, that will be discussed. Okay. So is it clear, guys? Now Smith actually got 8 permissions. Okay, go to this and see how many permissions are there. 8 permissions. When I added Smith to DB creator role, he got 8 permissions. If there is no role, I have to manually give all the 8 permissions, guys. Is it clear now? What is the advantage of the role? Clear, everyone? Is it clear? That is the advantage of the role. Now Smith can create the database. Smith can drop the database. Smith can restore the database. Smith can rename the database. He can alter the database also. Okay, so that's what a Smith can do. That is the use of the particular role, guys. So like that, we'll discuss the other roles. Okay. So now, but DB creator is also completed. Now let's discuss the disk admin. Disk admin will never use it, guys, related to the backup disk and all. Okay, device and all. So let's discuss. Let's see what permissions are there. Of course, every role will have add member to disk admin role. Disk initialization, add dump device, disk default. Till now, I never used this role. to be frank. Okay, till now I never used this role, and maybe this is related to the disk initialization and also no need to concentrate on it. You can just ignore this role. So now let's discuss the next role is process admin. So let's discuss this one. This is very important, and this we will on a regular basis we will use this role also. Now process admin. What is meant by process, guys? If you remember earlier we discussed what is meant by process.
Collection of certain rules.
Process.
Process data, like
Process data. Okay, fine.
like
Fine.
SQL Server processes.
Very good. Okay. So earlier we discussed this point, whether you remember it or not. Whenever any user is connected to the SQL server, if he is trying to access something or if he is trying to process something, SQL server will give a session for him, right? A temporary session for him, correct? When Smith is connected, when Smith is trying to do something, he has to write a query where he can write, where he can execute, okay, in a session, right? So that session is called a process for him. Now Smith is trying to access, Smith is trying to do something. See, that is Smith connection. See here, Smith connection. When Smith's connected to SQL server and he is trying to do something, a connection will be open to him, and whatever he is doing, it will be tracked under this process 69. Everyone, those who connected to the SQL server, okay, if he's trying now, see Sanjeev, and when he opened a new query, he will get his own process. Now, whatever work he want to do, whatever like things he want to create or delete or alter or whatever he want, he can do it under his name. So Sanjeev, see here, this is Sanjeev session. I can easily track what Sanjeev is doing under 71. Earlier Smith is under 69. Sanjeev is under 71. And admin, if you go and see the admin also, okay, admin session is also there, 67, 58. So everyone will get his own session. Everyone will get his own session, their own session. So whatever you are doing now, you will do in this window, so they can easily track. Yes, anything. They can easily track it using the session ID. You can also track it using the session ID, what you are doing, till what percentage it was completed. Okay, what exactly you are running, what queries you are running earlier, what queries you ran. Okay, so everything will be recorded under your session, guys. Clear, guys? That is called SPID. Okay, so I can track easily what everyone can do. Okay, SP underscore who2. SP underscore who2 will tell you what are the active connections are there in the SQL server. How many connections are there? Who are connected to the SQL server? What commands they are running? Who is running? From which program they are running? Since when they are running? What is the CPU? What is the disk? What is the database they are executing on? What database they are executing? Okay, everything you can track using SP who2. See, the same SP who2 Smith also will run. Okay, same SP who2. What he can see? When administrator run, how many sessions you can see? When administrator run the same
71.
All the sessions for admin,
all the
Smith can
sessions.
see his sessions.
His own session. See, Smith can see his own session. Login. Who is the login? Smith is the login.
Smith.
He can see his own session. He cannot see other session because he don't have enough permissions. Is it clear, guys? As he don't have enough permissions, that's why he can see his own sessions. Whereas administrator is the sysadmin, he can see all the sessions, current sessions that are running, okay, in the SQL server. So in these 71 sessions, up to 50 sessions, session ID, see the first column is very important. We will kill any sessions based on the session ID only. Up to session 50, all are internal sessions, background sessions, SQL server internal. See, when a server is up and running in the task manager, lot of processes will run in the background, right? Then only server can be up and running, right? Correct, guys? In the same way, if SQL server is up and running means the background lot of processes has to be up and running. So up to 50 sessions are background sessions, we can say. 1 to 50 background sessions. From 51 onwards, user session. See here, till now there is no login name. SA it is using. Now if you see here, 51 session onwards, you can see. Okay, from which host name and all, any blockings are there, on which database, what is the command. You can see here command. Okay, how much CPU it is taking, how much disk it is taking, when last batch run, from which application they connected, using program name. Using program name, see, using Management Studio connected, agent generic refresher. So like this, you can see everything using SP-Who2. As I am an administrator, I can see all the sessions, even like if 1,000 people are running, I can see all the 1,000 sessions and I can kill them. If one person, one process is creating a problem, if Sampath connected and he is executing a very big query and which is creating lot of issues, then with the Sampath's approval, I cannot directly go ahead and I cannot kill it. I have to ask Sampath, hey Sampath, your query is creating a lot of problem, which is consuming lot of disk IO, RAM. Can I kill this? If Sampath says if it is not so important, Sampath will agree, okay, no problem, you can kill it. So as a admin, I can kill the session. Guys, I have a quick question for all of you. Other than DB creator, who else can create the databases? Who else can adopt the databases, guys? Tell me, other than DB creator.
Sysadmin.
Very good,
Bulk
very
admin.
good, very good. Bulk admin. क्या कर का है, के कर का है. Why bulk admin can drop the database, create the database? Bulk
No.
admin zone is permissions, like he is having bulk insert and add member to the group. Oh, sysadmin can do everything. Whenever I ask, remember this point. Other than this, who can do that? The answer should be blindly you can tell sysadmin. Sysadmin can do everything, can do anything. Clear, guys? Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. So if we are good, that's it for now. It will be continued in the next session. Okay, in the evening session, 7 p.m. IST. So we can disconnect for now and we'll connect again at 7 p.m. IST, guys. For US people, tomorrow morning. No. Tomorrow morning. Yes, tomorrow morning, 8:30 EST. Okay.
I have a small question here.
Tell me.
Can DB creator also create a table in the database or not?
No. No.
Okay.
Create permission doesn't have, only alter permissions is having. Okay. Fine, guys. Questions?
Does some admin can create table?
Your voice is breaking. System?
Some admin can create table.
Of course, he can create a table. Of course. If he can't create the table, who can create the table? He can create the table.
Fine.
Shamuk, these two queries also can you put in that notes?
No problem, we'll add it. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions? You have to maintain your own notes. Okay, completely depending on the notes. Right? Fine. So that's it for now, guys, and we'll connect in the evening, 7 p.m. IST, guys. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks all.
Thank you.